To order. Let's all rise and help me say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you and welcome everyone. First item on the agenda is public comments this evening. Do we have any public comments?
Yeah.
We do.
Two.
Two of them. All right, so let me read the public comment statement. The public comment period is intended for a public to share ideas and concerns. It is not intended for any interactive discussion with the council. There may be opportunities for the public comments during specific agenda items that require a public hearing. Members of the public are requested to confine their remarks to questions or issues under discussion during this time. During any designated comment period, individuals shall not engage in personal attacks, shall not impugn motives of any speaker, and shall at all times, while in session, conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. No person shall make personal, impertinent, slanderous, or unauthorized remarks or become boisterous while addressing the council. All right, so first one's Christine Moffett. How are you this evening, Christine?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm here today because I have been concerned about the closure of the Devereaux Center since the business license was in peril. I live in Empire and have financially contributed to the center, the Salvation Army, and the Harmony Methodist Church that really worked hard to serve the unhoused members of our community. I'm especially sensitive to the lack of options that surround unhoused citizens that suffer from mental health and drug addiction. These are challenges that I've faced in my own members of the family, and I'm very aware of the limited public resources for these conditions. I attended a meeting of the Community Coalition of Empire last week for a presentation and updates on the Devereaux Center by Dr. Tim Lynch, the new public health advisor, I guess, for Coos Health and Wellness. I learned that he was president of the board for the Devereaux Center now. He answered a lot of questions from the community and provided an update on what the center was doing to serve the needs of the unhoused community. I also learned at the meeting that the city was highly engaged with that board in working to remediate and assist with transitions for the individuals that were previously served by the center. I want to apologize publicly to the council and city manager, as I did not know about this partnership was going on, and the information in the community has been limited. In fact, the web for this center is not up to date at all, has no information. City Council member Stevens attended the meeting, and with Dr. Lynch, I learned of the progress that has been going on for support, such as showering and warming centers and meals.
It's great to see the bike. I saw some bike racks going in around town.
Yes,
which is super. I think it would be good, though, if people put on there that it's okay to put your bike on them, because they look a little more like sculptures than actual bike racks. And I've looked at bike racks for a long time. I think they're good, but I think we could use some real general purpose ones like the rest of the world uses. They've produced a lot of different ones. So I have this from the from the Association of Pedestrian and Bicycle Professionals, and it's a pamphlet it's online. It's a pamphlet on bike parking, and it shows you the basic type and what the benefits are, the type of bike racks, the ones that accommodate people and they're easy for ones, and it gives you someone how to avoid them and how to lay them out and all that sort of good stuff. So I'd just like to pass that along tonight and make some copies. I can print some up if people want some more, but that's about all I have to say tonight. Oh, the other thing too is I saw online where a big development's going in, 400 houses or something like that. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen too much plans on it, but when I've been around the places, developments, especially up in Seattle and Bothell, around that area, they have a lot of trails, where people can get on their bikes and they can make it downtown, they can make it to the store and stuff like that. I haven't seen whether this is just going to be a standard sprawl or if it's going to be, something like a community they're putting in. I don't know. My concern always is Ocean Boulevard, where that comes out on that one street. I hope stuff's going to get taken care of there, because most people coming out of there, I bet a lot of them will turn left to go to Walmart 90 times a day, or right. But the Ocean Boulevard really needs some attention. It's probably one of the last roads that would make an easy access for a bike lane all the way to Charleston through here. Thank you. Newmark is still a dangerous road as far as I'm concerned. Very, very hard to ride down. And I have managed to get my bike out a couple of times. Freezing cold, but I managed to do it. Anyway, I'll pass this along, and that's all I have.
Perfect, thank you. So first of all, Christine, I appreciate the comment, and it's hard to get the information out there. And so I'm glad you were able to go and get the information that was necessary. With the Devereaux Center and the new board, we, as a council, even though we were involved, it's trying to keep a distance because it's not our place to do some of these things. It's their board and their operation. I do want to clarify that Cobanks Flu is going to have to move. And the determination of this will be dictated by FEMA. And FEMA has been very, and I'll let Nicole chime in because she's been more involved in Chelsea. But FEMA's advocated for months, even when Tara was there, that this was going to have to move, and there was a process of trying to move it and get a grant to help facilitate that. I think, and I have them both confirm this, that they're not going to ask them to move Cobanks Loop until there's a grant and a place to locate them. So who wants to start, Chelsea or Nicole?
Yeah, either.
Yeah, I can just give an update. We've been meeting with our FEMA Region 10 representative as well as representatives of the Devereaux Center and working on a plan to deal with Cobank Village. And it is accurate that FEMA is adamant it needs to move. It needs to be in a location that is out of the floodplain. But B, also recognizes that you need to have a place to move, you need to have funding. And so we've been working on finding grant opportunities, funding opportunities, and also looking at various pieces of land. So it's all currently in the mix, and we just kind of, as long as we're progressively getting closer to that, FEMA has been okay with the current status.
Very gracious and patient, and so as long as we are moving in a positive direction, I think we'll have some help with them. But the main thing from us, on our part, is to try to get a grant, or Devereaux Center and us get a grant to relocate them, because even if we find a location, the costs and everything else that's associated with it, so we need to do that. Anyway, it continues, but anyway. As far as the bike path on Ocean Boulevard, we've done a bike path on Ocean Boulevard, not all the way. I think it's something that we're trying to take in pieces. We just recently, Mike did a bike path up, is it going up 10th and part of Coos Bay or Ocean Boulevard. And it would be great if we could do it all together. I think you're right. I think we can do a bike path probably all the way up Ocean Boulevard in pieces. Of course, this is me. There's some other counselors here who might have a different opinion, but anyway, I think that can be done. But getting to Charleston, I don't know how you're going to do that unless you get ODOT involved to really do something. Yeah, put at you. Yeah, they have you on radar, I guess, because they sent us a letter with your commentary. But anyway, and on the development, I don't know. I did talk to the project manager, and he definitely wanted to put a park in, but there's nothing that obligates them that I know of at this point.
You have to remember, I wasn't here for the initial approval, but I do believe there is open space at a minimum,
Right.
kind of dedicated, and there are trail connections.
Right.
It's not a full-on mini community, though. It is just houses with some of those amenities, and they will have to deal with the intersection at Ocean and Lindy Lane, or wherever the traffic comes out.
So, I think the developer and the project manager on this, they're the same ones that did Coos Bay Village and the other development, and they have a community interest, so I think that there's a possibility that some other things will be done. So, we'll hope so. All right? All right, next item, council, is the consent calendar. How would you like to proceed?
I move we approve the consent calendar.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar as submitted. Is there any discussion or comments? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Next item is a public hearing to consider enactment of an ordinance amending the Coos Bay Municipal Code. Nicole, you want to brief us on this,
I will
please?
get us started. Yes, thank you. So currently, our Coos Bay Municipal Code provides language that helps establish the library board, much like many of the other boards. And it currently lists that it is a 8-member board, which is a little contrary to what the bylaws of the library state. Also, an 8-member board can be a complication if, for some reason, the board would arrive at a 4-4 vote. So what we're presenting to you is a modification of the code, which moves it down to a 7-member board. We're still sticking with the potential of having an appointee from council or a representative you might choose. And I believe Councilor Niebegal is still interested in holding that position. You may remember he came on the library board prior to his council election. So what we're presenting is the opportunity to modify it, reduce it to a 7-member board, still keeping the language for your council appointment or representative in there. Once, if this is a path that you choose, following the 30-day enactment period, the library board would then make sure that the bylaws align and bring that before any changes that are necessary to the library board for review.
So for some clarification, there needs to be a member from the council or from the city that sits on the board, am I correct?
Correct. That's
Okay.
how it is stated right now.
So we're suggesting, or you're suggesting, that still be the case, and that Jacob would be a representative, because he would like to serve on that, but not fill a public spot to make sure, so therefore it'll be 7. Is that correct?
Correct.
But
So
we-
as it stands right now with 8, I was holding that appointed council position following the vacancy of Councilor Miles. And then Jacob was brought in as a member of the public. Now he's also an elected member with interest to continue that service. So we just would essentially, I would step back. You're back where we were starting at 7, although there is a vacancy because someone did give, resignation notice. So we will post an opening, but it will bring us back to just the 7 that
Okay.
we're presenting here.
All right, Sammy, you want to say anything? Okay. So 7, you think 7's better than 9? I'm kidding. All right, I shouldn't do that. All right, I apologize, put you on the spot. All right, so council, questions about moving changing the ordinance to move the board to 7? Anyone? Everyone in agreement? All right, if that's the case, then I will need a motion to approve the...
We have a public
Oh,
hearing.
public hearing, I apologize. All right. Thank you. Okay, we're going to open a public hearing to consider the enactment of an ordinance amending the Coos Bay Municipal Code. I hope that everyone heard that it's going to go from 8 to 7 is what being recommended. Is there any comment on that? No? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. And then, council, how would you like to proceed?
I move we enact ordinance amending Coos Bay Municipal Code, modifying the number of library board members from 8 to 7.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to change the code, the ordinance, from 8 to 7. Well, we're going to enact the ordinance amending the Coos Bay Municipal Code, 2.25.020. Christine?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 218, providing for the library board. Mayor Benetti,
Aye.
Councilor Kilmer,
Aye.
Councilor Stevens,
Aye.
Councilor Cribbins,
Aye.
Councilor Niebergall,
Aye.
Councilor Matthews.
Aye.
Ordinance number 580 has been duly enacted.
Thank you, Christine. Next item on the agenda is ratification of the Planning Commission representative to the Parks Commission. Nicole?
Yes, thank you. At the Planning Commission's January 14th meeting, the commission voted to reappoint Bill Davis as their commission representative on the Parks Commission. That's a piece of Coos Bay Municipal Code that offers that the Planning Commission have a member sitting on the Parks Commission. Mr. Davis is still interested in holding that role, and so what you have before you is ratification of his of this recommendation from the Planning Commission, with the term to expire December 31 of 28.
Okay, are there any questions for Nicole about this? Or reappointing Bill Davis, who's been serving? Okay, if there is none, I need a motion to ratify the Planning Commission representative to the Parks Commission being Bill
I
Davis.
move we ratify Bill Davis as the City of Coos Bay Planning Commissioner as a representative of the Parks Commission.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Bill Davis as the Planning Commission representative to the Parks Commission. Is there any other discussion or comments? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. One question, going back to number for changing the ordinance on the municipal code for the library appointment. Do we have to formally appoint Jacob at this time?
Question, is it on there?
'Cause as a public individual,
I'm on as the public person.
but not as a council representative.
Which was what my role was.
That's a good question. Do we need a motion, or do we need just consensus?
Okay, I need a motion.
Okay, I move that we appoint Counselor Niebergall to be the city representative to the library board.
And I'll second. It's been moved and seconded to appoint Jacob as the representative for the Coos Bay City Council, or for the city, Coos Bay City. Is there any other discussion on this? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Thank you.
Good catch.
Yeah. You're official now. All right, next item, approval of the Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month proclamation. Chief Atkins.
Good evening. Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month, observed each January, raises awareness of the elevated risk firefighters face due to carcinogen exposure. It emphasizes prevention, early detection, and support for affected firefighters through screenings, protective gear, and decontamination. The observance highlights the role of fire departments, unions, and advocacy groups in promoting education and policies to safeguard firefighter health. Tonight we have Lieutenant Josh McGonigal, Vice President of the Coos Bay Professional Firefighters, Local 2935, to read the proclamation.
Whereas Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month, observed annually each January, underscores the importance of addressing the occupational health risks faced by firefighters, and whereas cancer has become a leading cause of firefighter deaths, with studies indicating firefighters are at significantly higher risk of developing certain types of cancer compared to the general population due to exposure to carcinogens encountered during fire suppression and overhaul, and whereas raising awareness of firefighter cancer risks and promoting preventative measures such as regular screenings, decontamination protocols, and the use of personal protective equipment is essential to safeguarding the health of those who protect our communities. And whereas the theme of Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month highlights the importance of early detection, research, and comprehensive support to affect firefighters and their families, and whereas fire departments, unions, healthcare professionals, and advocacy organizations play a critical role in advancing education, prevention, strategies, and legislative efforts to mitigate cancer risk for firefighters. And whereas Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month serves as a call to action for all citizens to recognize the sacrifices made by firefighters and to advocate for policies that promote their long-term health and well-being.
Now therefore, I, Joe Benetti, Mayor of the City of Coos Bay, do hereby proclaim January 2025 as Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month, and encourage all residents to observe this month by supporting initiatives and promote awareness, prevention, and care for firefighters affected by cancer. With that being the case, I need a motion to adopt this this proclamation.
I move we approve the Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month proclamation.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month proclamation. I just want to say thank you for bringing this up. And awareness is important. Cancer is something that is in our community in many ways, and this is definitely one way that we can hopefully make a difference by doing this. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you.
With that being the case, any other comments? With that being the case, I'll call for the question. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the Urban Renewal Agency financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024. Nicole?
Yes, thank you. Oregon revised statute requires that a annual financial impact statement produced by the Urban Renewal Agency be issued and on file with the governing body, the City Council. And then we also are required to provide that to all the overlapping taxing districts. The Oregon revised statutes also provide us with the elements that are to be included in that report, which are basically the financial statements that are in the very back of the report. We, however, go a step beyond that and provide an overview of urban renewal in general, and then also an overview of both of the districts that the city has implemented, as well as a review of the projects that were covered in the fiscal year. What you have in your packet tonight is that report, and I guess I would draw attention to just a couple of items within that report that I think are of note, which speak to the benefit of urban renewal in general, specifically in the city of Coos Bay. The first thing is looking at Table 1, which is the assessed values. And from what we know about urban renewal, when you establish a district, they freeze the assessed value of that district. And as there is growth and improvement in the district, that growth of assessed value is what the Urban Renewal Agency receives in funding for projects. So looking at both of the districts, downtown and Empire, they have had growth since their inception of over 200%. So you can see that the valuation of doing urban renewal, specifically asking those overlapping taxing districts to forego their revenues, it is actually a benefit to the whole community, though they don't receive those dollars. Additionally, on that same page where that table is at, there is a summary of the taxes that are collected and essentially the amounts that those overlapping taxing districts are foregoing to participate in the growth of those two districts. You'll see at that table that both the city of Coos Bay and the school district are the largest participators in urban renewal, with the city foregoing about $1 million and the school district foregoing a little under $800,000. We just note that the school district receives funding under the state school funding formula, and that ensures that they are made whole on those amounts that they forego with urban renewal. That's a funding formula that's in place across the state, and it ensures that all schools within the state of Oregon receive standardized funding. So,
So just for clarification on that, if that funding wasn't going to urban renewal, it wouldn't have made a difference in those budgets because they're made whole.
For the school district, yes, correct. They would, essentially what they're asked to do in the state school funding formula is identify all of their local revenue sources. And if that was in the pot, that would reduce what the state would backfill. So that they're getting the same funding, you know, per pupil allocation that every other school would get.
Yeah, these, you know, this is $776,000 that we would not have available to us to utilize for development in our community. So, you know, just, you know, with Councilor Kilmer, I totally agree. I mean, if the schools weren't being backfilled by the state, then we would have to really think hard about taking this kind of tack, but that's not the case. So I think it's a real benefit, helps us do 200% since the inception of these agencies, so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I have unless there are any questions. Happy to take any questions.
No, I appreciate the information because a lot of times you hear out there from folks that want to do away with urban renewal, but it really does have an impact, and you can see by the photos included in here, the impact this has made in our community over and over again.
Yeah, so I just had Coos leadership made a presentation with Mayor Engelke, and I had this table that I referred to, and Christine was part of that group. So the thing else that comes up is that on our tax statements, it says urban renewal. And it portrays that we're paying that amount plus all the other taxes. But that's not really the case. If that line item went away, our bottom line would still be the same. Am I correct?
Correct.
We'd still be
Yes.
paying the same amount of taxes.
Correct. If urban renewal, for whatever reason, was removed from an option in the state of Oregon, all of those taxing districts would then receive the distribution of those dollars back to them. So bottom line tax
theoretically, we're
dollars.
getting
you'd-
more money because the state is backfilling the schools to the tune of just under $800,000.
For us, yeah. But urban renewal on the tax bill is still, people ask me, they're paying for urban renewal. They are through the taxing district, but they're not paying extra for the urban renewal. That's what
Correct.
they're thinking.
Correct.
All right. So do you need us to adopt this?
We want you to approve it,
Okay.
yes.
So first of all, before I do that, is there any questions by any of the council about this? No? Okay. If we could go ahead and adopt this or ratify it. What do you want us to do? Just adopt it, right? Approve
It
it?
just needs to be approved.
All right. No, this goes through our, it's through the audit, right?
Yeah, it's a weird kind of thing, yes. Our financial statements are audited.
Right.
We get a auditor's opinion on the material, you know.
And we adopt that.
And you do. This is a ORS requirement that's separate from an annual financial audit. And I think it's because we need to speak to the taxes collected, the loss to, you know, the foregoing of the other taxing districts. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
All right, so that being the case, I need a motion to approve the Urban Renewal Agency Annual Financial Report for the fiscal year ended in June 30th. Yes, good job.
I would make a motion that we approve the Urban Renewal Agency's annual financial report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024.
Second, somebody?
Second.
And Carmen seconded. So is there any other discussion on this? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor of the approval of the Urban Renewal Agency Annual Financial Report, all in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing
Aye.
none? Hearing none, it passes. All right, next item, City Manager's Report. Nicole?
Just a couple of things for this evening. Just a reminder that the Chamber's annual awards banquet is coming up on Saturday. It starts at 6 at the Mill Casino. I do believe registration has passed. I'm not sure that they do tickets at the door, but that's a pretty well-attended event, and I understand there's going to be some entertainment this year. So, also wanted to give you a heads up. We'll have this in the Friday update. You know, we've discussed bringing together the school district with the city to potentially do a community learning session regarding the tsunami response and some preparation in hopes that next time we can step it up and do just a little bit better between the two entities. So the first, we talked about doing 3 sessions, kind of trying to cover the 3 areas across the city, kind of this downtown core area, out in Empire, and then also in East Side. And the first session is scheduled for January 30th at 6 p.m. at Marshfield at the high school there. And both the school district and the city will provide some information, and then we will open the floor to questions. That information, I think our team's kind of gathering some, we want to talk about the map, where you are, so you can kind of identify whether or not you need to evacuate or stay shelter in place. That's just a piece. We definitely want to just encourage kind of some more information where people can go to get more resources, and then also the school kind of share their emergency plan and how parents can best interact. So more to be followed for the following. I'm not sure the dates for the other two school locations, but that's what I have for today.
All right, thanks. Next item on the agenda is council comments. Sarah?
All right, nothing for me tonight.
All right, thank you. Troy?
Nothing for me tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Carmen?
Yeah, I guess I'll just give a couple quick updates from kind of my Parks Commission position. First of all, we had our open house at the Mingus Park Community Building this last weekend. Just kind of giving an update on what the Parks Commission is doing and the Parks Department and the progress that's been going on, along with the Adopt a Park pilot program that we're instituting and trying to gain more adopters for parks assets throughout the community. And it was well attended, and people got to check out the Mingus Park Community Building, which, for many of you who don't know, that is the old scout cabin, which is kind of behind Mingus Pond. We're working on a lot of renovations over there, and so we had a bunch of information about what's happening. And I just want to thank Mike, who's the tenant over there. Not the tenant, he's like the grounds person there. He did a great job along with Coco Sutton and Jamie Faraday, who are also in attendance. And we are going to have another open house on February 1st, kind of to disseminate a lot of the information about the EPA's Burn-Wise program. February is the American Burn Association Awareness Month, National Burn Awareness Month, but also the first week of February is the actual week. So we're going to be giving a bunch of information about that, and just another chance for a walkthrough at the Mingus Park Community Building. So if anybody's interested in checking it out, we got a lot of information about what we're trying to do over there, and just hoping that people come check it out and see what a valuable asset it is, and maybe find ways that they can interact with the parks system. So that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Carmen. Jacob?
Yeah, just to note for the library, I know that the Library Foundation is doing a children's book sale this week up until Saturday at the library. And then also just to note about the sculptures that are bike racks. I just found out this week that actually the students at Marshfield High School made those. So big shout out to Glenn Crook over at the high school who helped spearhead that, because I thought that was very cool.
It is.
That's it. That's all I got.
Thank you. Stephanie?
Yeah, just a couple of things. The Coos Bay Downtown Association held their annual meeting last week. I unfortunately was double booked, so I made an appearance and then had to run to another meeting that night. But from what I was seeing, we had a gathering of a good crowd, and I'm assuming that Janice did a nice presentation on tourism and how that affects our businesses downtown. And I'm not sure, were you another speaker or just?
No, but Carmen did get
Oh, okay.
recognized.
Oh, okay. Carmen. See, I didn't get to see who got the awards. Yeah. So appreciate everybody that comes out, and if you have a business and are interested in that, get a hold of me and we'll connect you. There are things happening in downtown. I do co-chair with a business owner the Economic Vitality Committee, and that is a great group that's very active in looking at some Main Street grants for downtown to work on some of the buildings that we have, and we have had quite a bit of interest in that Main Street grant, so I believe that we will be submitting something, so more to come on that. Also attended last week the pinning of our new fire chief. Congratulations, Jeff, and well-deserved, and it was a very nice ceremony, and that's all I have tonight.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. I also want to talk about the running legs, or as they are called, and for the bike rack. And it's great that the high school gets involved and makes those. They might not be the most used in that fashion, and maybe we need to make that a little bit more known. Maybe another kind of rack should be used also. But I can tell you, I've seen many, many people take their pictures with them. Visitors that come through, so it's a nice touch that we have, and it's unique to us. It also represents, you know, the Steve Prey Fontaine and the running and that goes on in here. So I think it's pretty nice that we have something like that going on.
And just a little tidbit on that, that was initiated by the Coos Bay Downtown Association. They purchased the first floor and the design to make those happen, and it was part of our community, our historic Prefontaine portion of our community, and they worked with the artists to get those commissioned for the city of Coos Bay.
Great. So the other one, I want some clarification, and Chief Chapman, I'm going to lean on you because it refers to public safety. There was a post, and I think it needs to be clear. They said they interacted with you, but that the council doesn't take public safety as a criteria, or it was not one of our goals, so therefore we don't think it's necessary, or we take it seriously. And I think that I'd like to get your opinion, and I mean, whether it's true or not true, I think we should know if there's something that this council should be addressing to make public safety more important. I mean, in my mind, it's always important, and it's just a constant as far as, no different than with our fire chief and, you know, our fire department. You know, those are important operations. And so anyway, with that being said, we have a goal-setting session coming up, and if there's something that we need to address to shore up public safety or help with public safety in some fashion, I'd like to get your opinion, so.
I appreciate that. I heard about the comment that was made on one of the social media websites or sites, and I'm not exactly sure where that is coming from necessarily. I don't know if that's something that is maybe taken somewhat out of context. I believe that, you know, I think that we often deal with a lot of complex issues in our community, and I have no doubts that most communities face the same issues. However, I would say the city of Coos Bay does an outstanding job in looking for ways to deal with these issues, whether it is looking at city ordinances, adopting new ordinances, looking at city policies, procedures. I think very proactive in that. I think the council is very proactive in that. And I think that it's evident that that there is a collaborative effort in this and reviewing these ordinances and in just the amount of good work that's been done and the things that have been implemented, such as our camping ordinance, such as our unlawful vehicle ordinance. It's given us the tools and the ability for law enforcement to deal with it, and also just there's been a variety of committees that have been empowered by council, empowered by city staff to look at various ways, not only that law enforcement can deal with some of these issues, but that collectively as a group we can deal with it, whether it's community members working on ways, whether it's resources within our communities looking at ways to help deal with some of these complex issues. I think it's I think the city has done a really good job, and you guys as of elected officials have done a really good job partnering up with city staff and the community also, those that are willing to go out and put forth the effort to try to make our community better every day. I think that, you know, the staff and council has been very supportive of that. So I would just say publicly, I don't know where that has come from. It certainly didn't come from my office. I think that there's always ways that we can look at things and get better as a community. I think if we say, hey, we've got it all accomplished and we hit the cruise control, things can get out of hand very quickly. But I think as a whole and collectively, I think we've done a really good job. I have shared with others that I have the opportunity at times to speak with other chiefs and other captains and managers of police departments, and they're facing a lot of the same issues. And I can tell you that a lot of times they don't necessarily have the things in place that help their police department enforce some of the things that need to be enforced, like we have here. And so I always walk away and I tell my team, my management team, we're very fortunate to be in the situation we're in and have the tools and the resources available. And we're always exploring what else is out there, what else is available, what else can we use, what other resources can we help maybe implement or support. And I think this council has done a really good job of that. So that's my 2 cents.
All right, well, thanks, Chief. But seriously, if there's something that comes about that we need to be aware of, or we can try to help facilitate things in a better manner, please let us know. I mean, I'm speaking for the council, but I think that we all agree with that. So anyway.
Can I say one more thing, just
Sure.
really quick? Oh, sorry. Probably shouldn't have given me the mic, but I know there's been some questions about our community resource officer, and I thought this might be an opportunity. First of all, it's an opportunity to showcase the community resource officer was, again, an idea of the Homeless Work Group Committee and this council bringing that forward and making that happen, and that has been a proven program, a positive program for our community. Unfortunately, due to some staffing levels right now, we are kind of trying to make that work, and that officer is actually kind of doing dual duties. Our intent and goal is to get that program up and running again as quickly as we can. It just, as everyone knows, when you lose someone or you have someone retire or go out on medical or whatever the case may be, it really kind of sets your department back a little bit, and so we continue to work to strive to get that program up and running. And so just wanted to give you an update on that.
Thanks for letting us know.
I do have a question, just for clarification for the public. When you bring a new officer in, how long until that person is on their own? I don't think people realize how long it takes to do that.
It is a very lengthy process. If we get a lateral, even from the time we actually have a vacant position, we post it, and even with a lateral stat, and that is someone that is already experienced and already has gone through the academy, we're still looking at 2 to 3 months by the time they get through all their background checks. And we do team them with a coach, even if they are experienced. We want to make sure that they understand Coos Bay's procedures and policies and all the things that go along with the Coos Bay Police Department. And so that takes anywhere from 2 to 3 months. That's a lateral. That's like best case scenario. Most of the time, we're dealing with folks that are entry level, no experience, and it is anywhere from 9 months to 12 months just to get them to where they can be put out in a vehicle on their own without a coach sitting next to them. They still have a coach, they still have a supervisor that's working with them daily, but for them to actually go and respond to a call on their own, it is anywhere from 9 to 12 months. And so by that time, sometimes you experience a second retirement or a situation, baby leave, something like that, and all of a sudden you're back now down to, and so we run, I think we adequately run our department with the numbers we have, but when we do lose 1 or 2, it does critically affect us. So.
And it's imperative to do that so that it protects that individual, it protects the department and the public, and it's important.
Absolutely.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right, thank you, Chief. All right, that's the end of my comments. Anyone else? No? That being the case, we do not have an urban renewal agency meeting, so I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting for this evening. Thank you, everyone.